Welcome back. President Trump continues to deny reports that he called America's fallen heroes losers and suckers. The Atlantic, which first reported on his alleged remarks, quotes multiple unnamed sources in their story, and now former White House officials are poking plenty of holes in it. Joining us now to poke more holes in this story, retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff. She's also the co-chair of Veterans for Trump, and she sits on the board of Women for Trump. And back with us again, President of the Convention of States of Action, Mark Meckler. Mark, Jessie, great to see you both. You know, if John Bolton is poking holes at this story, Jessie Jane, we know there's got to be some problems with it.
And also General Kelly's chief of staff. I mean, when you're looking at, we also have had 8 out of 10 of the public people who have come forward from the White House that have essentially were there stating that this was a false report. And the Atlantic has yet to reveal their anonymous sources. This was very, very egregious reporting, I would say at best. Let it be known also that the Atlantic is also known that their publisher owner is a huge donor to the Biden campaign. So honestly, we see that there's an agenda there. And effectively, I have met with President Trump myself personally, and I know that he has the utmost respect for military service and has done more for this military and its veterans than we ever saw in 8 years under President Obama and the Biden administration.
And if you know any gunnery sergeants, if that were true, you'd smell it from a mile away. You can't fake this stuff around the military. Mark, you've been around long enough to know how this works. These reports get out there, they get cited, they get circulated by millions of people, and by the time the fact-checking comes in, it's too late. It's already part of the narrative. It's taken as fact by so many members of the left. But, you know, when you have this many unnamed sources saying this, if you have any part of the story that is discounted the way that John Bolton has discounted this story, then none of it can stand up.
Yeah, look, none of it does stand up. And I think you said something really important. This travels very quickly on the left because this is the left's narrative. This is what they want us to believe about President Trump. But truthfully, the left is completely disrespectful of our military. It doesn't concern them if our politicians disrespect our military. So this is nothing but a political hit job, something that the Democrats have been doing over and over. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to take attention away from the fact that their candidate is fading in the polls. Joe Biden can't handle it out there on the campaign trail. Obviously, Donald Trump can, and they're very worried.
And again, just like the situation with Kenosha, Wisconsin, where, you know, they still go ahead and meet with Jacob Blake, despite the fact that it probably offends a lot of victims' advocates out there. You know, we advocate for due process, but victims have rights in this whole thing, too. And a lot of people might be curious about Kamala Harris being proud of Jacob Blake, considering the warrants he faced and what he just pleaded guilty to over the weekend. But, of course, Joe Biden is also trying to capitalize now on this situation with this Atlantic story, launching a $47 million digital campaign targeting military families. Here is a clip of what Biden's trying to do.
It's deplorable. It's deplorable. As I've said many times, I'll say again, these folks are the backbone of America.
They are the backbone of America, Joe Biden says. But, you know, President Trump also, I think, mentioned something very important, Jessie Jane. He talked about the difference between the brass at the Pentagon and the men and women who are actually serving on the front lines, the men and women who are in Afghanistan right now, who are in Iraq, who are in Syria, who are in North Africa, who are in, you know, Southeast Asia fighting ISIS there. I could go on and on. You know, they're the ones that know Donald Trump is trying to bring them home. The rest of Washington, Joe Biden and those generals in the Pentagon, they don't seem to have the same interest.
Absolutely. I won't say all generals, but many generals become politicians once they're in the Pentagon. Only appeasing the commander-in-chief, such as in the Obama and Biden administration, resulted in massive military cuts. We also saw women put in ground combat. I'm talking fighting hand-to-hand combat here. And there was no pushback because when you've got to pick up another star, you become political. And many of these contractors have now hired these generals for profit at Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics. But let me stress one thing about the Obama-Biden administration. 300,000 veterans died in the VA on wait lists that were never rectified. Another 600,000 were still waiting for care. And some of their claims were over a decade old. President Trump has reformed the VA. He has also ensured that the military received funding after the gutting we saw, the massive gutting of the military under the Obama-Biden presidency. So let's just be very clear. What did Biden do for veterans and the military while he was in that White House as the vice president?
We can't forget what happened to General Stanley McChrystal when he actually spoke the truth about Afghanistan. Everyone was floored when the Afghanistan papers were released in the Washington Post. But this is the same stuff that General McChrystal was talking about for a long time, and it got him fired. from his post leading the Afghan war under the Obama-Biden administration. Mark?
Yeah, look, it's particularly poignant to me. I have a son who served in the United States Marine Corps under the Biden-Obama administration. It was a disaster. Military funding was gutted. Training was not available. Weapons were substandard. They were low on ammunition, parts, all the time. I mean, the morale was terrible. And this is the man that now is standing up for the military. The VA was unacceptable. President Trump has been the greatest friend in modern American history to the United States military, rebuilding the military budget, fixing the VA, providing for 3 pay raises for military families. The idea that he would be out there disparaging the military, it just doesn't fit with the facts.
All right, one last thing I wanted to kind of get everybody to loosen the mood a little bit. We got to give Mitt Romney some credit, right, because he actually had a pretty decent troll of Nancy Pelosi on social media. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here is Senator Romney getting his hair cut by his wife, Ann, trolling Nancy Pelosi. You know, obviously, Romney's getting his hair cut at his palace there, but still, he's getting it done himself, not relying on the, closed salons of San Francisco or Salt Lake City or wherever Romney is. Can we get a letter grade from each of you on Romney's troll of Nancy Pelosi? Jesse, first to you. How do you grade Romney's troll?
Well, in fairness to Romney, it's never too late to get on board the Trump train. So if he wants to go after Nancy Pelosi, we welcome it, and I'll give him an A+ for the troll.
A+. Mark, how about you?
Yeah, I think that's an A+ troll on 2 levels. I mean, one is the question is, why are the salons even closed in San Francisco? And number 2, Queen Pelosi and her hypocrisy revealed very clearly there by Romney and his wife, Ann.
And I mean, she is apparently looks like she knows what she's doing there with the shears. And Romney's got a nice head of hair too. So I don't know if this is new or whatever, but good for them. That's real love right there. Jessie Jane, Mark Meckler, great to see you both.